Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Welcome to News in Motion. If you're tuning in with us live here at 7:25 a.m., we just want to say good morning to you. But if you are catching the replay, whether it be in the afternoon, the evening, or near the nighttime, we just want to say thank you for tuning in whenever you are watching News in Motion. If this is your first time tuning into News in Motion is a news media outlet with relevant commentary and call to action. We can be found on LinkedIn, YouTube, or any audio or podcast platforms. Today we have Talk About It Tuesday, but let's talk about, y'all like the way I did that? Y'all like the way I did it? Let's talk about Town Hall Thursday last week when we had a guest, our political strategist, Reverend Dr. Reverend Dr. I like the sound of that. Reverend Dr. Derek Holmes. He was joining us last week as we were talking about political strategies and what more can be done in our communities and involving our young people and voter registration. Um, so we had that with Town Hall Thursday, but today we have Talk About It Tuesday, and of course we will be joined momentarily by the one and only Miss Gail. But first, let's give a few shout outs to some of our viewers tuning in today on this Tuesday morning, Taco Tuesday, whatever, Talk About It Tuesday, whatever you want to call it. Good morning to you, Miss Deborah Johnson, tuning in through YouTube. Good morning to you. How are you doing today? It's not really the start of the week, but since we only go live on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, this is basically the start of the week for News in Motion. So come up in the room, y'all. Come in the room. Good morning to you, Miss Regina Shorts, tuning in through YouTube as well. Good morning to you. Hope you are doing fantastic today. And without further ado, y'all know what time it is. Let's get ready for some News in Motion.
News in Motion.
Hey, good morning to all of you. As I see you all are rolling in here. I see you, Marion Jackson, coming in. Good morning to you as well. And others of you are coming in. We have a group that may not be on here this week because they're having just a great time. And I think all of us need to take a break and do what we do. And I'm sure we'll see them again on next week. Shirley Nicholson, good morning to you. Good morning to you. Y'all, today is Tuesday, April the 23rd, 2024. I am your host, Gail Dudley, and this is, in fact, News in Motion. Every morning when we come on Tuesday through Thursday, you hear the voice of Isaiah Jones. I want us to continue to support him in the work that he's doing as he is growing as a young Black man, and I absolutely love it. All right, y'all, real quick, here's an ad we want to share with you. And if you have an ad, and you can also do a digital commercial as well and submit it, 30 seconds or 60 seconds. But ads is what help us continue to do what we do and to keep us on the air. So here's an ad from Stocks and Stilettos. And it says, Black women are the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs in the U.S. But how many of them understand why it's essential for women to actually learn how to invest wisely? And y'all, just pause here. It's so important for us to learn and adapt to and grow in different streams of income. For Black women especially, standing on business is more than just a hashtag. With the Stocks and Stilettos Society, your return on investment is top priority. That's why our community and programs are where more and more women are joining forces to make smart money moves. By supporting each other with investment insights and accountability, joining the Stocks and Stilettos Society is financial and investment team you can stand on. Learn more by going to www.stocksandstilettos.co, www.stocksandstilettos.co, or follow them on Facebook at Stocks and Stilettos. I'm a product of this particular platform. It was outstanding. If you go to their Facebook page this past Saturday, you would see several videos of those of us who completed that program and things that we're doing now. And I want to tell you, it's something that I highly, highly, highly recommend. Many of you may remember I had Cassandra Cummings both on my podcast, Politics and Prose with Gail, as well as right here on News in Motion. And we also shared her book. So something you want to check out. Talking about the book, Inspire, 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 a call to action. As y'all know, it released on March the 1st. It's going very well. I just want to say thank you to everyone who has purchased a copy so far. Starting today, I see you, Shardinia, come on in here. Starting today, from today until the launch party, the launch of book conversations with Gail, from today until that time, every book that is purchased, so starting today through May the 4th, every book that has been purchased, a percentage of that will go to motherful.org. You can check that out, motherful.org, excuse me. You can check it out. That's who we also supported during the Color of Purple, during the Color of Purple event. So we want to, so a portion of those book sales will go to help fund single women, single mothers here in Central Ohio. So if you thinking about a book for a baby, a bridal shower, a baby shower, for graduates, anniversaries, birthdays, go ahead and buy that now. If you are coming to the book launch, and don't forget, you have to RSVP. It's free, but you have to RSVP because we only have space for so many people. And I think there are 5 slots still available. If you are coming to the book conversations with Gail, along with Davia Williams Stevenson, who's going to be doing the interview May the 4th from 1 to 3 right here in Central Ohio, and you do not have your book, please hear me. Go to Amazon today, purchase your book, bring your book with you if you want me to sign it. And why am I saying that? The book at all the other outlets have sold out. I know some of you are still waiting for books from me. When I did my second order, it's back ordered. Excuse me. It is a bestseller. So again, thank you, thank you, thank you. And the reviews are amazing. If you have not had an opportunity to review the book, please go to Amazon and do that. We greatly appreciate that. Y'all, let me explain to you. Yeah, thank you, Isaiah. Thank you. Review the book on Amazon. Let me tell you why. It's not about book sales as in money. It's about book sales as in touching the lives of people who need inspiration. And when I share the news with you all today, you will understand why I am saying so many people need inspiration. People are struggling. People are depressed. People are down. And I am finding that this book is changing the lives of people. So y'all, it's not about me. It's about the book and about the words that God has given to me to bless other people. So I just want to shout that out. Thank you so much for everyone who has been participating. Again, think about that. I see you, Lori. I see you coming up in here. Think about that when we're talking about giving back and inspiring people. So y'all, that's happening Tuesday. Talk about it Tuesday. We want to also remind everyone of our schedule. We want to remind everyone of the schedule, upcoming schedule. We are here Tuesday through Thursday, all of May and all of June. Okay, Tuesday through Thursday, 7:25 a.m. Eastern Time, all of May and all of June. Young People Takeover will happen beginning the second week of July, and it will run the second week of July through July 31st. News and Motion will be on break, full break, August of 2024. We will return. We're not going to wait late in September this year. We will return on September the 3rd. That's Tuesday, September the 3rd, the day after Labor Day. And we will go through the elections, November the 5th. Now, not only will we go through the election November the 5th, we will be back on November the 6th as well as November the 7th. During the week of November the 5th, we will inform our viewers of our next steps for News in Motion. Until then, and we really need you all to participate with this, until then, please encourage your friends, your family, your neighbors, your coworkers, whomever. near or far, to tune in to News in Motion, whether they're watching the replay or joining us live. Tell them live is better because they can get into the chat. We want them to subscribe. So get them to subscribe to our YouTube, which is youtube.com/Gail Dudley, and to subscribe to our Friday Rundown, which people can find that at gaildudley.com. A pop-up box will come up. Have them subscribe to the Rundown. So again, I know I'm giving you a lot this Tuesday morning, but we're setting up for these elections that are right around the corner. We're setting up for that. If you are in Kentucky or Arizona or Georgia, yesterday, and I was doing what I could to post it out here. Yesterday was the last day to register to vote for the November election. We're going to keep giving you last day of register to vote. Y'all, if you know yours is coming up, your state, put it in the chat. If you know that is coming up, put it in the chat. Let them know the last day, and then give them the link. Anyone who's tuning in, if you have not registered to vote and you're thinking, I don't want to go to the BMV, or I don't want to do this, or I don't want to do that, you can go to iwillvote.com. www.iwillvote.com to register to vote. Y'all, it takes less than 3 minutes to do that. And for everyone else, please start checking your voter registration so that there's no shenanigans, Now that I have all of that out of the way, let's get to some news. I need y'all to talk back to me. It's kind of quiet. Where's everybody at? Click your friend link, text your friend and tell them to come hang out with us, to join us. All right, y'all. I'm going to call it what it is. And I'm really hoping that other news media outlets will begin to call it what it is as well. This is not a hush money trial. That's not what this is. Having hush money is not illegal, okay? This is not, good morning, Dr. Antoinette. This is not a hush money trial. Y'all, this is an election interference trial. This is what this is. So let's start calling it what it is. Good morning, David. This is an election interference trial. Stop calling it the hush money trial. All media outlets, you've been doing this longer than me, especially on the national platform. You know that's not what it is. Let's call it what it is. He wants to talk about election interference. Let's call it what it is. This is an election interference trial. Yes, Dr. Antoinette, yes. So y'all, opening arguments began yesterday for former President Donald Trump's criminal trial in Manhattan. And then this is where some news media just messes me up here with this. Allegedly falsifying business records to cover up their hush money. And then they're calling it a hush money trial. That's not what it is. What's up, Crystal? This is an election interference trial, okay? So former payments to the former adult film star. The first witness was called to stand yesterday. If you're wondering why it was so short yesterday, it was Passover yesterday. So they wanted to respect Passover for those who needed that time away, that time off. So CBS News reports that prosecutors called their first witness to the stand, David Pecker. He will be back on the stand again today. The former CEO of American Media Incorporated, or AMI. You may hear that as well. The parent company of the National Enquirer. The state alleges Pecker helped Donald Trump during the 2016 campaign by burying negative stories about him and attacking his rivals. So there's so much to unpack there. I know you're probably tuning in, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time here. But if you pay attention to this trial, there are key things you should be listening to. For example, one, they're what they call their journalism check should be no more than 10,000. Of course, it was more than that. Also, how they started sending limousines to pick up certain people, that was a part of it. And because they were now trying to get them to silence themselves and to get the story buried. Also, there was a meeting that came out. There was a meeting against the former President Donald Trump and David Pecker and the attorney Michael Cohen. Y'all, those were key things that were coming out. Although media is not in there to be able to televise live, they are reporting. They do have transcripts. Y'all check out the transcripts. We're going to do our best to put a lot of that in the Friday rundown with some highlights if we can figure out how to do this. We're not promising the highlights, but we're going to start putting some of the information in there if you're interested. And, on Friday Rundown, there's a section you don't want to see, just scroll on to the next section. That's okay. The other thing was that there was a meeting after the payment. Y'all have to pay attention to these payments. I see you, Donita. Good morning to you. So, y'all, all of this information is truly important, and that's how you follow along to see what's really happening. So there's going to be more details coming out from David Becker. Then I want to go to the Supreme Court, y'all. U.S. Supreme Court agrees to hear a case over whether the Biden administration can regulate ghost guns. Now, these are privately made firearms without serial numbers. Regulations are in effect as litigation plays out, with high court to take up the case in the fall. I'm still reading this and seeing what's happening and how all this is going to unfold. But not only are they hearing that case, they're also going to hear from the Supreme Court, there's a lawsuit. Y'all got to pay attention to these things, please, 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 because this is all a part of what's on the ballot. There's a lawsuit by a group of homeless people in Grants Pass, a small town in Oregon, could reshape the way cities across the country deal with homelessness. So the Supreme Court is weighing bans on sleeping outdoors. You're probably saying, oh, that's a good thing. Well, where are they going to go? Where are the people going to go? Where would they go? Because you have shelters who are saying that they have reached capacity. You have families with children. You have some cities now saying that you cannot sleep in cars. Where are they going to go? What are we going to do? And how can we help out with our civic engagement? So Supreme Court is going to be taking this up. Follow along. We're going to put information about that in the Friday Rundown as well. Dr. Antoinette says, but he calls President Joe Biden Crooked Joe. The actual president doesn't have 91 indictments. That's crooked. I agree with that. And I'm going to back up and go there too. And I'm going to come back to the Supreme Court in a moment. The other thing was that his attorneys wanted everyone, including the prosecution team, to identify him as President Trump. The prosecution team came back and said, no, because he's not the president. He's the former president. So we can respond to him in that way, but we're not going to call him President Trump. So all of that, that's why I think it's so important to keep in the forefront that this is not a hush money trap. It's not. It is election interference. That's what it is. It's election interference. So even when we're weighing in with the Supreme Court and everything's there, along with the January 6th insurrection, it's so important to utilize the proper language to communicate with people what's actually going on. So you have the Supreme Court weighing in on sleeping outdoors. You have the Supreme Court weighing in on January 6th. You have the Supreme Court weighing in on ghost guns, which are privately made firearms without serial numbers. You have a whole lot weighing on the Supreme Court in this election year. So once again, if you're saying, well, why should I register to vote? Because the President of the United States, the Senate, the House, they determine these judges, the Supreme Court judges, different legislations, things that are going on. And I'll go back again to Florida, which I told y'all then. And I'll say it again, it's actually a really great bill. And we had it in the Friday Rundown about a month ago about how Governor Ron DeSantis said, okay, we're not going to just take homeless people off the streets. We're going to make sure they have somewhere to go. We're going to make sure they have mental health advocacy. We're going to make sure they have medical health. We're going to make sure they eat. And he then trickled that down to all the mayors. Y'all, that's how you really put this together. So there may be things we don't like that he has done, but that bill is actually a really good bill. In addition to that, with news that's going on, y'all, there are protests around U.S. colleges and universities. It's been upticking since about Saturday. So USA Today reports that a wave of student-led protests have erupted at U.S. colleges and universities over the Israel-Hamas war, prompting school officials to take extreme measures to tamper down an increasingly what they're calling chaotic situation. So y'all, this report came out yesterday, so it's now been about 48 hours. Columbia University has suspended in-person classes Dozens of students were arrested at a protest at Yale and New York University. School officials closed Harvard Yard to the public. The New York University demonstrators really got into this back and forth with officials and chanted, "We will not stop, we will not rest, disclose, divest." That was going on. And then you had people saying we're just going to just finish out the year online. They're not coming on campus. You have a lot of even academic professors and staff coming out defending the students, saying they have a right to protest. They said it was not the students who were creating violence. It was actually the officials and security and police and so forth. So y'all, this is happening. Demonstrations and arrests are everywhere, but students want to be heard. They want their voices heard, and they're saying to have a peaceful protest sitting on the yard should not be a problem. So weigh in on the chat of what your thoughts are about that. The warning came after the pro-Palestine protesters breached school barricades. Now, they're also saying that there are people who are joining these protests who who are not in attendance at the school. They're not on the roster of the schools, colleges, and campuses. So a lot of that is unfolding as well. Dr. Antoinette said Clarence Thomas needs to recuse himself because his wife. Yes, we've been talking about that. So even pay attention to that, you all. When you're following news, when you're trying to get an understanding of what's going on, pay attention to the language, do your research, vet. Remember, AI has disinformation and misinformation, so keep looking for news sources that you trust. Speaking of Palestinians, speaking of Hamas, speaking of Israel, BBC News, y'all, reports that Israel's military intelligence chief announced his resignation yesterday over failing. He's saying he's doing it over failing to prevent Hamas October 7th cross-border raid that left 1,200 people in Israel dead and more than 250 others taken hostage. So he is the first, and that's Major Halavi, is the first senior Israeli leader to resign over the attack. So that is happening. Marion says protesting is free speech. It is. It's freedom of speech. And how do you do it? And how do you keep everything together? And what does that look like? So, yeah, a lot of news, right? We still have more AP reports. This is just to soften things just a little bit. AP reports that the construction, and I know we've talked about this in Ohio and other places, but y'all, it's happening. The construction of a new passenger rail system linking Los Angeles area with Las Vegas began yesterday. They're calling it the Bright Line West system. It's spanning over about 218 miles, mostly along what they call their Interstate 15. It's expected to be the nation's first true high-speed intercity rail network. And everyone has their eyes on them because if it works there, they believe it can work anywhere else. So we're going to see if there's going to be people movers all over the U.S. Yeah, and then this is not as soft, but this is something we should talk about. And I didn't realize that it happened before this past weekend. But y'all, USA Today reports that a woman brought a man in a wheelchair into a South American bank and attempted to take out a loan in his name, but the man had been dead for hours. And this is police in Brazil said on last Wednesday. Erica Nunes, age 42, was arrested Tuesday following this incident in a neighborhood in Western Rio de Janeiro. I'll get that out real quick, right? Civil police reported. The woman claimed that the man identified by police as 68-year-old Polio Braga was her uncle and wanted papers to sign $3,250 loan. So they said the woman was trying to have him sign his name, but she was like taking his hand to do it, talking about he was ill, he was in a wheelchair. No, he had been dead for at least 2 hours. Now they did find out that was her uncle. Okay, Deborah's going back to the people mover. Can we please get one? They've been talking about that in Ohio for years, and that would be so good if they can get that. Speaking of that in Ohio, Deborah, that was perfect timing. So this isn't a new thing. No. 2 women were charged with in a similar case Dead man's body driven to bank, used to withdraw money in Ohio. Yeah, two women face charges. I'm like, is this a new thing? Like, what is happening here? Davia said, remember weekend at Barney's? Yes, that's what I was like. This is just unbelievable. But y'all, two women in Ohio face the same charges, allegedly driving a dead body of their male roommate to a bank, propping him up and withdrawing money from his account. Yeah, y'all, this just happened like Monday. Not yesterday, but last week, Monday. Lorene Ferrero, age 55, and Karen Kazabam, age 66, both of Ashtabula, Ohio, located near Cleveland, were charged last week. Yeah, he was dead. So there's that. So I'm like, what is going on here? Now, y'all, this one, I'm just throwing this in here for the sake of throwing this in here. This is news, y'all, because I felt kind of way about this. I feel a certain way about this. California versus Clear. I'm talking Clear at the airport. Y'all, CBS News is reporting. I'm like, what the what? A new bill, the first of its kind in the U.S., want to ban security screening company Clear from operating in California airports as lawmakers take aim at companies that I want y'all to hear this, that let consumers pay to pass through security ahead of other travelers. What? You mad that we paying to get through Clear and we don't take off our shoes and pull out our stuff out our luggage and we paying for it? You got a problem with that? Donita said, wow, I hadn't heard that. So y'all, Senator Josh Newman, a California Democrat, and the sponsor of the legislation, said, and I want to read this to y'all, said that Clear effectively lets wealthier people skip in front of passengers who have been waiting to be screened by Transportation Security Administration agents. First of all, we just don't want to take off our shoes. So we gotta be vetted. We gotta either do our eyes or our fingerprints so they know everything about us to get through lines. Okay, seriously. But here's the truth: Clear's line is longer than TSA these days. So what's the problem? So that's what's happening. So then he says in a quote, I want y'all to weigh in on this. He says in a quote, it's a basic equity issue when you see people subscribe to a concierge service being escorted in front of people who have waited a long time to get in front of the TSA line. This is what he said to CBS Money Watch. He goes on in a quote to say, everyone is beaten down by travel experience. And if Clear escorts a customer in front of you and tells TSA, sorry, I have someone better, it's really frustrating. First of all, they don't say that. We don't actually skip in front of lines. They normally just rotate one after yet another, just like they do in a regular TSA line. So what are you talking about? So y'all, if the bill passed, the bill would ban Clear and the company that was founded in 2010. Now, Clear charges members is $189 per year to verify passengers' identities, and it's you're being vetted to get through. And it's really, you don't take off your shoes, you don't pull out your computer, none of those things. So I'm like, what? Has he been through Clear? Like, what is it? What is it? So people have been shooting back and say, well, then if you're going to get rid of Clear, you're going to get rid of first class passengers. You're going to get rid of first class on airplanes. You're going to get rid of people being able to sit down first on the airplane. And y'all, that can happen because this sets a precedent. Pastor Alex Williams says, what about TSA pre-check? Exactly, because you can do the same thing with that too, right? You get in front of the TSA. There's also global entry. So people are coming back saying, then get rid of first class, get rid of being able to board the plane first if you're first class or veteran. People were coming out the woodwork with this. Get rid of the lounges at the airport. I'm like, this is great, but that's what's going to happen. Y'all, I think so many of us complain about things that we shouldn't even really complain about because it's going to end up hurting everybody in the long run. Crystal says, what would the next step be? Getting rid of first class, business class. There you go. Donita, exactly. People pay for services like that everywhere. You're absolutely correct. I read it several times. I looked at several different things. I went to the actual bill, which we're going to put that in the Friday rundown as well. And I said, he's serious. He's serious. So he doesn't want any of that. So there's that. So then there was one person on X that said, let's get rid of luxury vehicles. Like, are we serious right now? This can go so many different directions. So I guess nowadays, if people get upset, they're just going to write a bill, they're going to sue, or they're going to ban something. I don't know if that's how we should be responding. I really don't know. I don't think that's going to help anybody. Um, it kind of creates this thing that no one has to work hard to do anything. No, that they don't want anyone to be successful. What actually is happening here? And that's a part of the conversation we want to have on Thursday with our town hall Thursday. So we really want to say, okay, where are we headed with all of this banning stuff? Where are we really heading with that? Donita says you can now pay to skip lines at amusement parks. You can. People were talking about how quickly those tickets sold at Disney World and Disneyland, and Cedar Point, and then one more, Six Flags somewhere. I can't remember where, but Six Flags. They were talking about how those tickets just went out the door, like bam, they're sold. Can legislator pass focus on stuff that matters? There's that. Can we have it? And then I just want to let everyone know that Cher, Jimmy Buffett, and Mary J. Blige headline 2024 class of 16 inductees into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So that's happening as well. Angel Reese, her jersey sold out. Retails everywhere. Then you have people on X and Instagram and Threads upset that her jersey sold out and Caitlin's hasn't sold out yet. And everybody's like, this is not a Caitlin Angel Reese thing. This isn't. So people are saying that let's turn Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese into a Larry Bird and a Magic Johnson. I don't know if that's really good. And why should we have to put two great women, in their skill and gift against each other? Why are we doing that? But it is known that the two of them, and if they would just join together, that the two of them could really change the face of the WNBA and also bring recognition to the other greats that did not have enough recognition. Y'all, tickets are selling out everywhere. They're trying to encourage people, even if you do not have WNBA in your city or state, go to their websites, buy a ticket, and then gift it to somebody in that area to get them to encourage to go. They've actually had to move some of the games to larger arenas because people are buying them. So y'all, hats off to all the young ladies who were drafted just recently into the WNBA because they're changing the face of the game, and I'm excited about it. Dr. Antoinette says, can I just buy the jersey I want to buy? Well, you can do that too. We should really flood and buy the paraphernalia, the merch for the WNBA to send a message that we are supporting them. But I believe the game is changing. And I cannot go to the inspirational message without shouting out Taylor Swift. I shouted out Beyonce. I'm going to shout out Taylor Swift in the release of her new album, and I cannot think of it. It's Poets something. Somebody in the chat put it in there. I thought I wrote it down. I did not. They said it's hitting the streams. It was the number one stream on Spotify and Amazon. That has taken the first place, but all the work that's happening there. And then I guess she and her man may be in trouble. It's really funny. They really aren't. But it's really funny just to read some of that because I guess he liked the photo with Donald Trump, and I guess people are not okay with that. It's just really interesting. People are like, wow, the song she's going to write about Travis Kelce's going to be interesting. I'm like, come on, y'all, let's keep going. But that was just to give y'all some lighter news. Let's go to the inspirational message. All right, y'all, I'm in Colossians, and it's actually, y'all know Apostle Anita Dawson, who joins us many mornings. She will put on Facebook like, all right, y'all, we're reading the book of Colossians this month or this week or whatever. So I've been reading it, and I'm stuck on Colossians chapter 2, verses 4 and 5. And it says in that, it says, I tell you this so that no one may deceive you by sounding arguments For though I am absent from you in body, I am present with you in spirit, and delight to see how orderly you are and how firm your faith is in Christ. For those of you who are new to News in Motion, yes, we give an inspirational message. The book Inspired Call to Action has inspirational messages all throughout, some of them taken from this platform, and many of them, if not all of them, I think there may be about maybe 5 without it, have a biblical reference. I am a follower of Jesus. We have all kinds of people who stay tuned in through the inspirational message because they still get something from it. So we're going to keep doing what we're doing. So I was reading that and I started just picking this apart. Where he says, this is, I tell you this, and I'm using the word this to say, Paul is wanting us to know how much he is struggling for us. I was like, wow, that's deep. That's deep. But I kept going and I said, he, being Paul, wants us to know that his purpose is to encourage, to be encouraged in heart and united in love. Encouraged in heart and united in love. Y'all, thank you, Marion. Taylor Swift, tortured poets. Thank you for posting that, because I want to make sure I say that right so y'all can go out there and listen to it. So, to be encouraged in heart and united in love. Y'all, in this season, it is so important for us to be united in love, to be encouraged first individually and collectively, but also united. Y'all, we may not agree with everything that someone's saying or doing, but where do we find some commonality? I think that is so important for us to find that common thread that connects us. Whatever that is, can we find that common thread that connects us? Because I think many of us are now struggling with and for one another, because we're struggling because people are hurting, people are lost, people are depressed, people are dealing with darkness. And remember, in Colossians chapter 1, we have been rescued from darkness, but we're still struggling. People are still struggling. People are still hurting. So we can be intentional by encouraging people and then being united with people, finding that commonality, so that we may have full riches. This is what Paul is saying, that we may have full riches of complete understanding. Can we understand where a person is coming from? Even if we disagree with them, can we at least understand they're in pain? Can we at least understand there's some hurt there, there's some trauma there, there's some torture there, there's some darkness there? Can we at least connect with that person on that level? Pray for them and help them be set free. Can we at least do that? And Christ, who has all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge, treasures, wisdom, knowledge. If we stay tuned into this, this is our treasure. This is our wisdom. This is our knowledge. Now, Paul does not want, and this is so key in these verses, Paul does not want any smooth talking person to tell us differently. So it's like, I tell you this so that no one may deceive you by fine sounding arguments. Y'all, don't allow somebody with a smooth talk, a smooth line, somebody to get us and to entice us. He's saying, don't let that person tell you anything different. We can find commonality, we can find unity, and we can be encouraged. That's what I want to leave all of us today. So as you're walking throughout this day, be encouraged, find commonalities with people, even with people you disagree with. Find a way to love them, to pray for them, to support them. Y'all, this is where we can make a difference, especially in this season. All right, y'all, until tomorrow, I am your host, Gail Dudley. This has been News in Motion. Y'all know what I say. Stay well, everyone. And remember, make some bold moves. We're out.
News in Motion.